Hey everyone, welcome back to How to Be a Poser. Today we're going to be exploring the pinnacle of Stark Industries technology. I'm talking about the Iron Man Mark 85 die-cast 6-scale figure by Hot Toys from Avengers Endgame. Let's get started. All right, here it is. The Iron Man Mark 85 is still in its box exactly the way that it's going to come to you. Has a wide assortment of hands. In addition to what we typically see, we also have the Nano Gauntlet, a great portrait of Tony Stark, and this awesome energy collector. Okay, Thor, hit me. Can't wait to see what I can do with all this cool stuff, so let's get rolling. All right, here he is, ready to go. Iron Man Mark 85. Again, the pinnacle of Tony Stark's Iron Man technology, given form here in 6 scale for us today. Now, Mark 85, that's a lot of marks. That's a lot of armors that Tony built over the span of a decade and more. One of the things that happens is when you get a lot of Iron Man armors up there on your shelf, then they kind of tend to start blending together. But there are ways that you can make each armor stand out, and I'm talking about the use of accessories here. In this case, this particular armor includes this, which is some sort of an energy collector, as we saw when Tony had Thor hit him with lightning. He was able to gather the energy from Thor's lightning, use it to charge his armor, and unleash a deadly blast at Thanos. It didn't wind up having any sort of a really serious effect to Thanos. The battle continued, and eventually, spoiler alert, the Avengers lost that particular fight. What I want to do is I want to use this figure to create a pose that we're all familiar with. Nothing really over the top dramatic, but which is going to feature this energy collector and have Iron Man in a very, very iconic pose. It's really going to stand out on a shelf. I don't care if you have a dozen, 2 dozen Iron Man armors on a shelf, or just this one. It's nothing too groundbreaking, but something that's going to be very, very cool. So I'm gonna get him just like in that, okay Thor, hit me pose, where he's just got his legs spread. He's gonna be standing forward on one foot, bracing himself, and have both of his fists clenched in sort of a, give it to me posture. With the minor tweaking that I intend to do with it as well, that actually might provide just a little bit more character and really, really, again, make it stand out. So I'm just gonna experiment with this and see how this looks. Now, you would be tempted to say, okay, that's done. But see, what I've done is I've just brought his arms up, but they're kind of straight on. And I don't dig that. As I've talked about before, I like to create leading lines with every element that I can in a figure. And one of the ways that you can do that with this one is by just spreading those arms out a little bit, keeping his elbows in as much as possible. Watch those biceps, because if you bend it too much, and you can really just give it a bend, then it's going to force that bicep armor up. That's meant to do that. It's meant to break away and just kind of flow upwards so that you can get more range of motion. Now you can see you can get a little bit of a torso twist out of the mid-torso region. In order to really get a torso twist, you have to pop up this torso, break it free, and then move it that way. But I kind of try to keep that hidden as much as possible whenever I can. So let's go ahead and collapse that and just use this upper torso, turn it as far to Tony's left as you can, and then kind of continue that slight curve with just a little bit of a twist of the head, and then bring this shoulder back. Yeah, I'm just gonna play with this a little bit until I get what I think is something pretty cool. And I think I'm just about there. Again, you can have it down here, and that's pretty attractive. Let's just rotate that around just so you can see. Okay, I'm gonna opt out of using that extended bicep thing. I'm gonna bring this bicep armor back down, slap it down to where it needs to be, and just, again, have his elbows as close as I can get them to the torso and move that out. See how that's looking so far? Really dynamic. And look at how the light plays with that paint. It really glows. It almost has like a liquid vibe to it, the way that the light's hitting it. Really dig that. All right, let's see what's going on here. This guy is broken free, so let's see if I can't slap that back down. Yeah, okay. This is a piece that's designed to break away and move up so that you can get more forward motion out of that foot. And it's done its job, but I want to try to see if I can make it fit as flush as possible. Hot Toys has engineered these figures in such a way that various pieces will break free of the armor and allow you to have more range of motion with the legs here, with the biceps up there as we talked about. The trade-off is that you have those pieces actually breaking free. Again, this is meant to be a nanotech armor. That means that everything is supposed to flow smoothly 100% of the time. There aren't supposed to be the breaks that you saw in the more mechanically engineered solid armors that you, quote unquote, solid armors that we saw in the early days of Iron Man. But you can't get that when you're translating. This is not a nanotech 6-scale figure. Can't wait till that happens, by the way. And I think that what I've got here is a great pose, but all it needs now is the energy collector. Now, I'm already anticipating something that I almost know is going to happen, but this figure is feeling pretty stable. I'm going to shake that table and you can see that he's not falling. But when you add an element like this energy collector, or if it's in a different sort of figure, like say somebody would have a backpack that you would attach via magnets or a jetpack or something like that, then what it does is it creates a different point of balance. The center of gravity is shifted to the back. And if your figure isn't already stable, that can cause it to topple backwards. So you gotta be a little bit more careful with this. All right, so let's go ahead and take this off. This back plate comes off. And this is the one that lights up the lights. I think the best way to do it is just to go ahead and take off the various plates that I need to now in order to turn the lights on. So that's right, that's left. Now notice how I'm doing that. This is a, little insider tip. Try to keep your pieces, your various pieces organized if you're going to take off more than one especially. If you want to have your lights on at the end of a pose, take off all the battery compartment covers before you effect your pose. That way all you have to do is flip the switches and put the compartment covers back on and you're good to go. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going to go ahead and recreate the pose that I'd already established. And again, look at that. Just look at that profile. Oh God, this is such a really stoic, really strong looking figure and a very cool stance that we've got going on here with it too. So I'm gonna put his weight center of gravity a little bit forward there in anticipation. Let's flip these switches. Number 1, number 2, number 3, and 4. Then let's go ahead and drop the parts, the components back on. Again, this is left, so that's gonna come over here. Find the keyholes, pop it back into place. Let's do the other leg. Flip it. Boom, done. Very satisfying snap. Now I'm probably gonna have some correction to do in the posing, even after, see that's right, so that's gonna go over here. Even after correcting it before turning the lights on, I'm probably gonna have to adjust a couple of things anyway. Because it's just the nature of the beast. Parts are gonna move. One motion, one movement of a single point of articulation will affect the other points of articulation. There we go. All right. And again, very simple, very strong. Let's go ahead and arch that back a little bit if we can. Now, we can't really arch it too much without breaking it, without breaking that torso free. Yeah, but you can at the top. So the upper torso will arch back and just create, look at that. Look at that profile. Oh yeah. And that's it. It's as simple as that. Just make some fine adjustments here. Rotate that hand up a little bit. And I don't know, maybe just make it even more aggressive by bringing that leg forward just a little bit more and bending that knee one more. Click. Those are ratcheted joints. And again, what I've got here is I've created a line of sight. He's kind of looking down the same direction as his left leg. And that's what Thanos is seeing right there. Let's rotate that just a touch more up and out. Yeah, baby. That's strong. When a figure includes an accessory as visually dominant as this energy collector, more often than not, a more dynamic pose can distract from it. Don't be reluctant to take baby steps. Keep it simple and find a way to draw the eye to focus on that accessory and let it tell its story all on its own. You can always revisit other aspects of the figure later. After all, the best part about 6-scale collecting is that you never have to settle for one pose for very long.
Did you enjoy that video? Be sure to subscribe by hitting the S icon on your screen and click the bell icon to be notified whenever a new video is posted. If you'd like more info on the items featured in this video, click the link provided under product info. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to let your geek side show.